If you notice one day when you start your car in the morning that there is blue smoke coming out of the exhaust, then you must know that this means that the car is burning oil. This oil comes out in the form of blue smoke upon first starting. This issue is not simple because there is usually a problem inside the engine. What happens in short is that the engine oil entered the combustion chamber and mixed with the gasoline and started to burn. Sometimes the problem is simple and easy to solve, such as a clogged oil evaporation valve, in which case you can easily change it without a large cost. But in other cases, unfortunately, the issue is due to internal damage in the engine itself, and this requires repair that could cost you a large sum. Also, keep in mind, if the smoke coming out is white or black, that is a completely different issue. So, in today's episode, we will learn the reasons for blue smoke coming out of the exhaust, and how to differentiate between simple causes and serious problems that can destroy the engine if ignored. Let's get started. Let's go. What are the causes of blue smoke coming from the exhaust? To properly understand the problem, you need to know what can cause your car to burn oil and emit blue smoke. Here are the causes you should be aware of. First, damaged valve seals. One of the most obvious signs that your valve seals are faulty is when you notice blue smoke coming from the exhaust as soon as you start your car first thing in the morning. This happens because there's a small amount of oil sitting on top of the engine head from the last time the car was started. When the car is idle for a while, these seals cool and shrink slightly, leaving a small gap that allows the oil to pass through. As soon as you start the car, this oil is drawn into the combustion chamber and burned with the gasoline. This is when you see blue smoke coming from the exhaust. Also, if the car has been idle for a long time, meaning running without moving, you may notice the same blue smoke every time you step on the gas. So, what causes valve seals to wear out in the first place? The most common reasons are that you don't change the engine oil regularly, or that the seals have reached the end of their service life after long trips, meaning after more than 200,000 kilometers, or even because they were installed incorrectly by an unprofessional technician. Second, weak piston rings. Piston rings are metal rings that surround the pistons. Their primary function is to regulate oil pressure inside the engine and control the amount of oil consumed. So, when do we know that the piston rings are damaged? The first thing you'll notice if the piston rings are damaged is that the exhaust will start to emit thick blue smoke. This is because the engine oil is leaking into the combustion chamber. When the oil burns, blue smoke is clearly visible behind the car. In this case, you should perform an engine compression test to ensure the condition of the piston rings. If the engine is healthy, the compression should be higher than 115 psi, and the difference between the top and bottom cylinders should not exceed 10%. But if the compression is lower than that, the engine will not perform well, and you'll notice a significant decrease in torque. Third, clogged oil evaporative valve. If you notice blue smoke constantly coming out of the exhaust that won't go away, the first thing you should check is the PCV valve. This valve has a very important function. It draws the vapors that form inside the engine as a result of oil friction and high temperatures. It returns them to the engine intake manifold for clean combustion and reduced emissions. But if this valve is clogged or damaged, the pressure inside the engine will increase. This means the oil will begin to mix with air and other gases. When this mixture reaches the combustion chamber, it will burn and immediately turn into blue smoke coming out of the exhaust. In short, a damaged PCV valve can emit baffling blue smoke. Fortunately, replacing it is simple, so if you suspect it, don't delay. Is it okay to drive a car while blue smoke is coming out of the exhaust? In some cases, it's okay to drive for 2 or 3 days while blue smoke is coming out. The important thing is to identify the cause and act quickly before the problem gets worse and becomes more costly. For example, if the cause is a clogged oil vapor valve or cracked valve seals, it's best to stop the car and fix the problem quickly. Delaying the repair can increase oil consumption or even damage other engine parts. However, if the problem is due to weak piston rings, that's a slightly bigger issue. In this case, you can temporarily use a heavier oil, such as 20W50, to reduce oil leakage into the combustion chamber and continue your journey until the engine is repaired. However, don't postpone the repair, as the cost will be much higher. At the end of our episode, we have explained the most important information you need to know about the reasons for blue smoke coming out of the exhaust, so you can identify the cause and know when you really need to go to a maintenance center before the problem gets bigger. As we always say, early diagnosis and regular follow-up are the key to maintaining your car and saving yourself unnecessary expenses. Thank you for following, and wait for us in a new episode.